Hi, my name is Tim Erickson. I am sometimes known as St. Paul Tim on the internet. My company Triplo runs a website called simplo.site, and I'm here on behalf of Triplo and Simplo to talk today about the registration module for Backdrop CMS. Now, the registration module, I'm inspired to talk about this today because we just had a big release for the registration module today. Just fixed a bunch of bugs. Also, I'm inspired a little bit by the upcoming Backdrop Live, which will be happening in about 3 weeks for those who are watching the video now and not later. Backdrop Live uses the registration module already, even prior to this latest release, but the latest release should make it a little bit easier and better to use. The registration module allows users to register to different pieces of content. So we can have sort of an event or a session or a topic content type, and then users can register for different events or sessions or topics, whichever. And the registration module allows for the site owner to send out reminders for each of those events or sessions, and also send out just sort of email updates and things like that to keep in touch with the participants. So it's a pretty handy module. It's relatively new to Backdrop. I mean, the original release I think was about a year ago, around the time of the first Backdrop Live, and it's gotten some work and attention since then. I know a number of people who are interested in it. So let's go ahead and just quickly show you how it works. This is a blank, brand new website I spun up on my in my local environment. And it is, I use Lando for those who are curious to do my local development. But that's not important. You can use anything. And let me log in quick. Okay, I'm logged in now. And the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and go to the list modules page. I did install the module, I just haven't enabled it. So we're going to see right away that the registration module comes with 3 submodules. These are all optional. I'm pretty sure we're going to need registration entity access. I don't know that we're going to be using registration views or registration waitlist, but I'll go ahead and enable them as well right now. Okay, and now that we've enabled the module, we will notice, let me flush the cache, always flush the cache, regardless of what you're doing, is that under structure, we now have a new registration states and registration types. And so the first thing we're going to do, I'm not sure if we should do this first, is add a registration type. Yeah, I think we can do this. And let's call this, for the purposes of our demo, we're going to create some user group meetings and allow people to register for user group meetings. So I'm going to call the registration type user group registration. I like that. Default state is just none. States are different, particularly like if you've got payment involved, or if you've got extras. It provides a waitlist state. So if the event is full, people can get on a wait list, things like that. I don't think we need states. You're either registered or you're not. So we'll just leave the default as none. I'm going to save the registration type. The next thing I need to do is create a content type. So I'm going to go to add content type, and virtual user group meetings is what I'm going to call this content type. I'm going to skip over, for the sake of time, description and go right on to add fields. And I'm not going to do too much here, but every event needs a date field, so let's do that. Pop-up calendar will be good for the time. And I think we're going to just round that off a bit. No minutes, just year, date, and hour for our start time. I'm going to leave everything else as the default for now in the date field. And so here's the next thing, is we're going to add a registration field. And this is provided by the registration module. So this is not something you're going to see until you enable this module. And the only one type of widget. So we're going to save that. Now, there is a whole bunch of different sort of options for setting defaults. for your registration. But what I think is that most of these are things that we're going to set when we actually create an event. And we can just leave the defaults as they are. We don't need to adjust any of these. So save setting. So that's the main thing to get set up. Now all we have to do is go to the content, add a virtual user group meeting, and the title I think would be the topic. And I have a topic here already, October VUG virtual user group theming with backdrop. We'll call that the title. This is a short description of our event. Let's pick a date. And let's do this on October 26th. That will be after Backdrop Live at 2:00 p.m. And we want a user group registration. This is the type of registration we want to use. We could have different types of registration that we use on different virtual user group meetings. And that would be, I think, just different sort of default settings. I am going to go ahead and hit save. Okay, what we want to do now is manage our registration. And on the manage registrations, we've got, first of all, this would show any existing registrations. Then we have settings, and we're going to need to enable that. And then there's the option to email you, to send an email to anybody who's registered. And I'm really excited about this feature. Let's go back to settings, and we're going to want to enable registration for this event. I don't think we need a capacity limit for our virtual event, but let's go ahead and set that for 20 for fun. We can set an opening and closing date. Going to skip that. We let people register whenever they want. Let me click on that. Nope, we don't have any calendar widget for this. That's okay. We have the option to set up a confirmation email for participants, a reminder email, and a date that we want that reminder email to be sent. And then things like limiting the number of spaces that individual registrants can register for or take. We can put 0, and that will make it no limit, or we can, we could put 2, and that's just sort of how many tickets one person can reserve. Other defaults, reply address confirmation message. This is the message I think that will display on the page, and also roles that can register. And we're going to assume that people have to be logged in, so they need to be authenticated and able to register. And I'm not going to bother enabling the wait list, but that would be another possibility. Let's go ahead and save this. And now what we need to do is log in as a regular user and try registering. First thing I'm going to do is set up a new user account. Okay, I've set up the account. I'm not going to save the password for that. The email's set up there, so now we can pop over to another browser that I have all ready to go with this website. We can go ahead and log in. Okay, one thing we're not going to have is a link to go and register to this site yet. So what I'm going to do is go back quickly to the other site, go to the content menu, and I'm going to edit this node, and I'm going to basically promote it to the front page, just so that we have a place that we can find it now, so that we can register for it. So if I refresh the page, now that this has been promoted to the front page, it's showing up here. I can click on it as a user. Now I can see the information that's been provided. Click on the registration tab and basically say I want one space, save registration. Here's my confirmation message. Registration has been saved. It's showing me the data. And really that's it. Let's go back now to the original website, and if we go to the node and we click on manage registrations, we can see here one registration created by test user, and we're all set. So that's really all we have for, or that's all we're going to go into today on the registration module. It's a basic configuration for the registration module. Go out and give it a try. Please give the maintainer some feedback. I know that they've put a lot of work into this, and I think this could be a really useful contrib module in the backdrop sphere. So final reminder to check out simplo.site and If you're looking for additional backdrop CMS tutorials, find us at Team Triplo on YouTube. Thank you.